This is Downright Annoyed with Comics, and I'm Comic Man Andy. Welcome to my channel. And this is the Traveling Comic Book Show, and we're your hosts tonight. We got Mr. DNP, Downright Nerdy Podcast, and we got Jackson with Bored and Annoyed. And what are we talking about tonight, guys?
Mac and me for another hour?
Jesus. No, let's talk about something good. Gideon Falls, Volume 2.
Yes. I'm excited for tonight. I've kept my mouth shut all week, but this 6-issue part, this volume 2 is probably like the craziest part of the story in my opinion so far. And it's the part that I have to reread and reread and reread because I'm always in shock.
Yeah, it's another cliffhanger at the end, which screw you, Andy.
I'm all about it this weekend.
Yeah, it was. I liked it even better than the first part of the story. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, same here. I enjoyed it better than the first part of the story. I might be stretching it, but it might be more exciting for me. First two volumes in, I think I like it better than the first two volumes of Saga.
Ooh. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, the horror, the time travel, everything is just clicking for me. And I can't find anything negative to say about Gideon Falls so far.
I can't either. I really can't. Rolling into the second volume. And every time I read it again, I know I say this a lot when I read books with friends and hang out. Every time I read something again for the second, third, or fourth time, I'm always finding something new that I didn't catch before. I say that every show, though.
But what'd you catch this time, Andy?
I
mean, why don't you just take us through it? Take us through the whole arc of these 6 books.
It took me the second read through to realize that the whole first volume, Norton wearing that mask played a reason, because in the second volume you see that he has a scar.
Yes, he does,
on his face, and then you notice that the young child going through the story has that same scar. So that's your connection that you alluded to last week, Jackson, was that kid is Edward Norton, or
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton, huh? Man,
that would be a twist.
That is a twist. Norton Sinclair. But and then the teddy bear plays a role. The teddy bear was with him on the bus.
Yep.
Yep. Before the bus took him.
Yeah, there's interesting little lore added too, with Norton Sinclair being the town's first serial killer back in like the 1600s or whatever.
Yep. So I still want to find out how he got that name, because Norton Sinclair is not his birth name. Was it Brian something or?
Right. That was something where I was going to ask you guys, did they explain that at all in the first 2 volumes? We don't know yet, right?
Because it seems like if you travel through into a different time period through the barn, you have this memory loss, right? And I think like either like someone probably just gave him his name, maybe at the orphanage or something. I don't know, but I mean, it's not explained. Am I correct?
Yeah, here's something to chew on. Are we traveling through time, or are we traveling to parallel universes at this point? We don't know.
I think it's time.
I think so too.
I think it's time. And I'm going back and forth on my original whacked out theory that the past looking part is actually the future and the future looking part is the past, because the box that was hidden with all the photographs and shit is found in the oldie time type spot. So if it was buried in the past, then I would be right. And it would have been found in the future, which is the oldie time looking part of the story.
They like hiding things in boxes and then hiding the boxes. Think volume 1
where
Father Fred found that box in the floorboards. And this first issue opening up, you find that the doctor is really fully sided with Norton. And even, is this the issue where she breaks him out? Nope. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Nope.
But they actually go and get all the pieces from his apartment, and that's when he gets abducted by a doctor who looks suspiciously similar to Norton Sinclair. The Norton Sinclair.
The original serial killer or whatever.
Just minus the mustache and minus the suit and minus the cane. And
by the way, his real name is Daniel.
Daniel. Okay,
Yes.
not Brian. Daniel. So many names, so many details. I am terrible with details, but this is
And the
one that,
doctor's name is Dr. Kadri, who looks like him, right? That's the name. That you're talking about this fella, right?
yeah, with the glasses. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that was interesting when he shows up and essentially takes Norton. I mean, we are assuming that there's something more devious about these psychiatrists or whatever than is let on, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the very last page. I mean, it's like soon we'll all be where we need to be, and then you get that evil.
Right.
That's your cue that he's possessed by evil.
Yeah.
Do we know, is it a possession deal, or
I might be misstepping with that or using that terminology, but he's evil, at that moment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is a possession thing. I think it could be. I mean, because we don't actually see we only see him like that little creepy smile face, like almost talking as if it's like a mental thing,
Mark Spector, Gideon Falls. We're falling in love with this, and they continue to carry on the covers as character faces.
Yes,
this being normal.
I'm leaning more towards that this is like some sick ritualistic cult.
Okay.
Than it is possession. Like, it's just, I hope it's not possession, I guess I should say.
That kind of makes it a little mundane, right?
Yeah, exactly. I like my cults, like my sick, twisted, freaky people.
He has a interesting take. He said, "What if it's not time travel but a memory line? So told out of sequence from a some like memory pride storytelling recall standpoint. Just a question. Haven't read it yet. I mean, I don't know, because it seems to me that the barn is like the vehicle
portal.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I don't know if that could be true. Yeah, I can't really see that being true. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, we haven't finished. There are only 3 volumes of this as of right now, correct?
Yeah, and it is an ongoing series, just in hiatus at the moment, like everything else.
By the way, I just bought issues 1 through 21 first prints on eBay.
Yeah, you see, you're doing what I'm doing. You find a story that you love, then you get all the first prints of the floppy copies, and then you sit there and you squirrel them away.
And I look at them, and I was like,
you're turning into a completionist collector, man.
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, it's like, so that's my MO. I find a story I love. I grab a CGC 9.8 of issue 1 when they first start hitting eBay for the $50-$60 or whatever, the people pay for the grading and then get the extra 20 or $30 for their time. And then I get the trade paperbacks. Now the only thing I'm missing is omnibuses and the larger books when they come out.
Yeah. So I don't know. Are we done talking about the first book or the first?
Yeah, I mean, this is
so like this. The next one opens up with Daniel. Well, he's already gone through the portal, and it looks like he's in that orphanage, right?
Yep. He's like he gets sent to the basement. Yeah. So
that's creepy as hell.
Yeah, that was great.
And then the thing starts talking to him, right? This is where you belong, in the dirt and refuse. This is where you'll find your home. And then he says, like, please leave me alone, like never. You'll never be able to stop me until you find me. And then that creepy thing in the dark. This is gonna
I love the look of that character, by the way.
I mean,
the creepy thing.
This got optioned for a show. I hope that they take it like the way it's meant to be, like dark and suspenseful and not like I mean, I haven't read Lock and Key, but people are saying that they went way too kiddish with the series. So I don't know.
Well, you can't go kiddish with this.
I hope not.
I don't think it's possible. No.
You got to go full R rating with this. I mean,
yes.
This whole laughing man concept and the way I'm going to butcher this, but Andrea Sorrentino laid this out just gives me the freaking heebie-jeebies whenever I hit those all black pages with those red eyes, and it sells it. It sells it all too well.
So I think this the scene when he's in the basement, gets thrown in the basement. That's he's the way that they're writing this is he's having PTSD kind of thing, or like seeing visions, because he's also locked up into that mental institute, that soft room, right?
He's
It
having
goes,
a flashback. Yeah.
yeah, it literally goes from here being, curled up in a ball in the basement to him curled up in a ball in the
Yeah, because
mental
if
institution,
you
right?
notice, it's him sitting in the basement on that one page with the laughing man talking to him. Then the top of the next page is the laughing man, and then the background, the all black background, fades away, and the background of the padded room starts coming into play, and then it turns to Norton in the straitjacket with him staring back at the laughing man, and then he panics and he flips out. And that's when the orderlies come in and dope him up again and knock him out, and he's drooling all over himself.
Yep.
And it cuts to Father Fred trying to do a sermon.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, I like the way they parallel their two storylines,
Yeah.
like back and forth. And the Father Fred sermon was great. That might have been my favorite part in the whole thing so far. He's essentially giving a sermon and he starts to have visions, and it screws up his sermon. And then the deputy walks in, or the sheriff or whatever she is, and he's basically in the room by himself. Is he going crazy? What's happening? Yeah, it's intriguing stuff.
Well, I mean, that vision that he has, it's from another pastor, right? Another father, I guess, from the olden times, from the times of the first serial killer, right?
So this is one of the first really trippy panels that gets delivered in this volume. Like there's some really good panels and some really well laid out and crazy looking panels, but this gets trippy. This is one of the first trippy ones where it rolls into Father Fred having that sermon, and then he's like, do we, and then he like freezes in that moment, and all of a sudden he comes back to with like, he's like a question, he has a question mark, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he's having the vision of the priest or the father from around late 1880s, 1900, I think it was. And it's like a flashback.
Yeah, there's a lot of flashbacks and time related stuff going on in the story as a whole, I would say.
This starts getting to some serious deep cuts, like really making you reread and think and try to figure out where Jeff Lemire's taking you. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole reason why it's laid out like this, and I'm trying to figure out why, you know?
Well, it's hard to even talk about, like the conversations aren't as animated as like reading something like Saga and discussing it, because you really don't know what the fuck's going on really yet.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. I mean, at least I don't know what this thing is. All I basically know after this is like there's a story about Norton Sinclair was a serial killer, and there was a group of men called the Plowmen who band together and started some sort of underground, skulls like society, I would say, like some sort of ritualistic society. But outside of that, it's mainly concentrating on character stuff. Your two main characters, which I really like, both learning more about Norton and Father Fred, and what kind of made them the way that they are. And kind of it's kind of fascinating. I probably right now am even more intrigued by the Father Fred character overall, maybe, but I could see going either way. They're both very good. So
the sub characters I'm really liking too.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say they both kind of have a female character that's like along for the ride, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And it's two different, and they're both of the female characters are kind of against their own will, kind of dragged into this thing. They don't really want to believe it. They both think, there's kind of an explanation for it. Maybe not so much Dr. Zhu anymore, but the other one, the chief, she is in on this because she wants to find her brother, right? So Yeah,
And
it's
it's
it's very
interesting.
good.
Like those two characters, like you got the police chief, and then you got the psychiatrist, both of whom got into their professions to help people, and now like they do so like using logic, but now they're almost being forced out of their comfort zone to try to help people that they don't necessarily initially wanted to help, kind of, or like not wanted to help, but kind of took seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the priest who's like saying he's got some visions, or like say like all the evidence is pointing towards him being the killer, and like it's kind of like their whole logic system is being twisted up or turned upside down because
Right.
of what's happening. It's
Right.
interesting.
And the other two guys, they both kind of believe in something that's supernatural. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's fantastic. I really, really am enjoying it.
You know, and Norton comes to the realization in that padded room that he needs to go back to that orphanage and go back to that basement to find something, and it's a key. So that's kind of Dr. Pronounce that again, Zhu?
Zhu, that's what I'm going with.
Zhu or Zhu?
Zhu.
He said
It's
Zhu.
XU, right? Zhu, yeah.
Dr. Yu or Dr. Zhu. She breaks him out of the insane asylum or the hospital, and then you get back to the chief and the father kind of like on a Sherlock and Holmes mission to find a little more, and they break into the house of the bus driver and find a box hidden with those photos that you talked about, and one of those photos being Norton Sinclair.
Yep.
So that's kind of a cliffhanger at the end of that one.
So I'm trying to figure out what the times are, like the times are here. They never explicitly say what year it is in either story.
No.
Right. So one of the things we do know for sure is that in the timeline or area that Father Fred is in, the area where the red barn shows up is an open farm field, right? Not too far from the church, obviously, because he ran from the rectory barefoot in the middle of the night chasing that lady. And then in the timeline where Norton is right now, it is a dump. It is a landfill.
Yep.
And there's a lot of built up buildings and housings, and it's basically a city that's built up in that area. So I'm torn trying to figure out which one is the present, if there is a present, and which one might be the future or the past.
Yeah, because you would think that, and going full circle to my crazy theory that the past is the future, you would think that if he found a box of pictures, that the pictures have to come from the past, right? But to your point, I mean, unless this field exists over top of the landfill that used to be there, which I guess is possible.
This is where I'm thinking it's like a parallel universe.
So you're thinking that they're not even in the same world, that it is a separate.
I wonder if we have two presents at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's not even, there's not enough going for this right now to even produce that. That's just a crazy out there idea, because I'm struggling to find anything that disapproves that they're both the present. You know what I mean?
There's nothing, there's no evidence at all that, you know, you could say, okay, for sure, this is what's happening.
But what we also don't have is we don't know for sure that red barn or the black barn shows up in the exact same location every time either. I don't know that we know that for sure yet. I don't know if it's locked into that one spot and just materializes and then dematerializes.
I think it is. I mean, I just because.
Well, he had to build the door there, right?
Yeah,
like
it was
he
like
had
a place.
He did, but we don't know if that's geographically the exact same location.
I guess, but then I mean, kind of jumping ahead when the priest and spoiler alert, when the priest and Daniel switch places, like I think they're inferring that it is the same place, just at different times, or maybe even different parallel universes.
Because when they do zip over, the other people on the other ends are in those. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's tough to wrap your head around that, and that's exactly what they want.
I'm excited for the next section where we have the characters swapped in the different.
Yeah. So I mean, like, just kind of going back in order of like how things happen. The priest and the chief go to visit the chief's father again, the crazy old dude with the big beard, right? Right at that. Well, I guess you backing up. What's her face? Dr. Zeus saves Daniel from the
Yeah,
from
I
the,
jumped.
from the
I
spot.
jumped ahead on that one. She waited for that other laughing man type doctor to leave, and then she whips out that sweet needle and then goes rescues.
Um, and then was it the guy the dad gives Clara the or no, where did he get the box again? That box, didn't he get the box?
He got
Yeah.
that box with the photos from the bus driver's house.
That's
Yep.
right. Yeah.
He goes there and has some sort of a vision where he sees that person that hid them originally, and he goes and gets it out. So
Got it.
Like a waking vision. He sees the bus driver putting that box back. And that's the second or third time that they've talked about these characters having like waking visions.
yes, and what's giving them the visions, like, because
if it's like
go-
the timelines crossing or the universes crossing, something mixing or melding, because
well, there's a lot of that in the panels themselves, the way they're
that
written.
starts to happen when they get on that same area, that same location when they're at the barn. So I don't know, man.
Because my first thought was like, okay, well, this is like a demonic presence that's like torturing them with these visions. But then I thought to myself, well, it does. I'm not sure if it's in the best interest of whatever the bad forces, the bad juju that's causing all this. I don't know what's in its best interest. I don't know what its goal is yet. So it's taking its time setting everything up.
Yeah. That is true. They don't deliver much.
I'm getting the suspense is killing me. Like,
yeah.
With each new issue, I'm like, oh my god, like, give me something else. Like, my palms are sweaty as I'm reading this thing.
Yeah, it's very much like it's a first act the whole way through. They're setting everything up. I would imagine that it's only going to get better as it goes.
And that's funny you say that, because traditionally a lot of stories have 3 arcs, right? I mean, if the first 2 volumes are the first arc, I guess maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess total. I don't know.
Any idea, Andy, what the plan is for this? How long he wants to drag this out for?
I have not delved that deep into it, and I wish I would have. I just know that it was an ongoing series from him. I don't know. We're gonna find out, because at this point, I feel like at some point we're gonna read the next book.
So, maybe I'll pick that. I don't know yet.
That's right. It's Jackson's turn. That's right.
Yeah. If he doesn't, at some point, we're still gonna come back to this and read this, and we'll figure out what, if anything, Jeff Lemire's had to say about this.
Because
so you can't build this. You can't build this and deliver this and then not have like just this magnum opus plan, just the whole coup de grace. This is going to be an amazing finale when they end this.
And you were talking, Jackson, earlier about your favorite parts of this volume. Mine is like a 3-page part. It's when he starts to I guess realize, or when they start doing the switch, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Then this one here is my favorite, where you have to like see the intertwining storylines.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, right?
And then finally you get to see, like, hey, he's there. He goes Norton, and then the priest is all of a sudden in that I guess world.
And does the priest not know who he is?
Yes.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, because he says, where is it? Hold on.
Which is kind of an interesting reaction too, because all the time travel geekery that we know about, people don't lose.
Yeah.
People don't cross timelines and then develop amnesia.
Right.
So maybe I'm thinking too hard about that, but
yeah, Andy, you probably have to think too hard
when
you get your pants on in the morning. So
we're supposed
to have pants.
Who are you? And he goes, I don't know. And then it ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what all happened as far as information that was divulged in this section? I feel like it was mainly character stuff, right? It's not
all character stuff, and then it was just building to the switch.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't
Which is
learn
great.
anything. Did we learn any? We learned lore about Norton Sinclair, I guess, and kind of the corruption of Gideon Falls, the original sin of Gideon Falls, sort of was like a thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah, and then we learned we met the villain, I guess, kind of. He
Kind of,
actually
but-
like
I don't know. I kind of think that he's also a man lost in time, or maybe he's just an older version of what's his face, the dude.
Norton Sinclair.
Yeah, I think Lawrence Sinclair is an older version of the dude with the mask.
Okay, and is Norton actually Norton Sinclair? Like, is that what they're setting up?
Possibly.
Is that
I wouldn't be
your
surprised
main
if-
character becomes that creature?
Well, let's
Yeah.
put it this way: the Norton Sinclair that they introduce, his goatee and his mustache does conveniently hide any sign of a scar where it would be. Yes,
would
I
be
love
there,
that
right?
look too. Norton Sinclair. You know, you can just
Right?
the name is perfect for like the mustache twirling, you know.
hmm
I also wouldn't be surprised if maybe if that Norton Sinclair dude is either an older version of the dude with the mask or an alternate version of the priest, like the complete like 180 of what the priest has been living his entire life as. Like he's a priest, and then there's the alternate version of him, which is like the devil, a murderer.
If I ever find the original art for this 2-page panel, game over, man. It's game over.
You're buying it.
Yeah.
You're buying it right away.
Buying it right then and there, huh?
Oh yeah. Now I'm glad you brought up the priest again, because let's talk a little bit about the bishop. Do you remember that last phone call the bishop had with Father Fred?
Yeah, what does he say again? He says, "Let me know when you're there," or what does he say? Look for me.
Exactly. He's like, look for me when you get there. And he's like, Father Fred's like, wait, what are you going to? He's like, just repeat after me. When you get there, look for me, or something to that effect.
So he's gonna have to find him in the big city type land.
So obviously the bishop has some freaking idea what's going on here.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. God, I'm getting freaking.
That's right. We haven't seen
I
the
get
bishop
goosebumps
yet, but
here.
he said to meet him at that specific place.
Yeah, I like all the mystery that it really drums up. It's very well told. It's a page turner because again, I sat down and read the whole thing in like one sitting. It's really good.
And then the use of how do you describe this? Negative space. I hear some people talking about negative space covers, so that's what comes to mind. But then when you flip to a panel and it's nothing but red and white lines, that
like
really sets the mood and delivers the fact that these two have met in the middle of nothing. Maybe they're crossing they're crossing timelines, they're crossing something, they're stuck in that barn, and just that use of I don't know how to, I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah, that's great. It's definitely, it makes you feel like it's an otherworldly place. It's and then that's when doesn't the demon or whatever show himself as that's the other part of the time thing here. So theoretically, your theory, Andy, is that these might all be like separate universes, essentially, correct?
Yeah, it's probably a terrible theory, but the working theory you guys have of the timelines is a little bit better, because if you look from left, we always do what? We read from left to right, top to bottom, right? So if you look at that whole 2-page layout and you read it from left to right, top to bottom, what do you get? You get older cars, older signs, and then you progressively get more futuristic in the design and the development of like even the vehicles. Like you get futuristic hover cars in the far right, skyscrapers and some other stuff, and they even do some kind of like timely war stuff on the far left, kind of like making you think it's like the 1940s or whatever. So I mean, that's more evidence towards the timelines theory.
Yeah,
but
and I think that's what it is. That's just that whole splash. Those it's just incredible. It was just fun to just look at it, I was whipping through this book fairly quickly, but I remember specifically just pausing at that and just looking at it for a good like 5 minutes, before flipping to the page.
You begin to analyze it. Like you start. They did such a fantastic job with producing enough, but making you think that there's so much more there that I sat and analyzed that splash page for probably half an hour to 45 minutes at one point. Oh yeah. Like just stared at it. And with my terrible memory, that was all for nothing because I don't remember I don't remember finding everything. Besides that layout of left to right, that older to newer, and that timeline.
That statement right there just explains why you chose Macamee. You just completely forgot how crappy that was, I guess.
I think he likes it, Michael.
No, the product placement was a fun trip to the 80s, actually. I ain't gonna lie anymore. I'm done hiding. That was a fun trip to the 80s.
Yes. Now the other thing that we see in this is it the entity's true form, that giant bug creature that like breaks out of the dude's back? Yeah.
I don't think so.
That reminded me of A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. There's a scene one of the girls turns into a cockroach. She's like afraid of cockroaches, and she slowly turns into one inside of like the Roach Motel, and it's awesome. But
you see, I think that's what it is. His form is whatever you fear most.
Okay. He's like it. He's like Pennywise.
He's like it. He's like Pennywise. Yeah. Whatever it is you fear most in this world. And
were we given any hint that the characters feared bugs?
No.
Well, Ed Norton.
Ed Norton.
I almost called him Ed Norton again. Yeah.
I guess we know who to cast as Norton.
I guess. Yeah.
I'll be damned. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad actually. But with him spending his lifetime basically in the dark and in the trash, I wouldn't be surprised if a roach was one of his biggest fears, but I'm not sure how I can connect that to Father Fred.
Right, because they're both there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's just audiences, people that read don't like cockroaches, so we assume that cockroaches are freaky shit, and that's why he made it. But yeah, I think you're probably right, Michael. It's probably not its true form.
God, how do you?
Yeah, it's awesome.
How do you not get?
I think that's his true form right there. He just an eyes with a creepy mouth, just so that he could, personify himself as someone who's just evil and just whatever. And then when you actually get to see him, it'll just be whatever the hell you're scared of the most.
So the doorway aspect too. So he's trying to enter our realm. Is that correct? I mean, is that the kind of what we're thinking here?
I don't know that he's trying to enter the realm, but he's definitely trying to make Norton Sinclair be his doorman or his doorboy. It's his gateway from one timeline or one universe to another, or whatever you want to call it. He needs him to complete that door for that barn to exist wherever Norton is my understanding.
And that almost leads credence more to like that the barn is a vehicle, and it has to be complete in all realms for it to work. Maybe. I don't know, right?
Yeah, so the barn's history, right, was the barn was burned down with Norton Sinclair in it. Was that what happened, or?
Well, not entirely. When Norton Sinclair came to be in this timeline that's delivered to us, or that story, it was the 17 or 1800s. It's Cowboys time. He inherited the land through like an uncle or through a family member, and in doing so, he became a tinkerer in his barn and never tended the land. So everybody that was around there knew he was some kind of crazy, stuck at home, never went out, never did anything, never tended his land, didn't work. He didn't fit into the society's norms. So when these murders started happening, they immediately pinned it on him and went to him. And in this barn, that's when, what do they call that? That posse went with the sheriff and went to the barn. And instead of, like, they were in the middle of demanding he came out, one of the guys kicked the door. And when he kicked the door in is when you get that all panel of red and all of the posse's bodies just rip into pieces. And they like disappeared. And nobody saw anything.
Well,
guys.
Do we know that Norton Sinclair murdered anyone, or is that just assumed? We don't. Right. So this is like so maybe the great evil that was done was the town turning evil and turning on this weird, guy who's kind of a loner in the town just because they're very prejudiced against this guy and they don't like him, and that might be the spawn of the corruption of this town. So that could easily be it.
One of the things we do know that is they said that Norton Sinclair was there was a witness. She was laying in bed with her husband, and her husband was taken from her, and they said that she witnessed Norton Sinclair taking her husband. Well, she could have trumped that up completely based on her irrational fears of somebody she didn't know. And this could have been an innocent man that was...
Sure.
Yeah. I'm actually really digging your thought process on that quite a bit. That's pretty dope. Oh man, I'm gonna have to chew on that one for a night. That's good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I think overall, it definitely makes me anxious to reach for that third volume whenever it is we.
Maybe I don't know, Michael.
But so yeah, we know that much. We don't know if he actually killed the people, or his device, or his barn, or whatnot, or pure evil did it. Or we don't know. We don't really truly know who Edward Norton. God, I did it again. Norton
Edward
Sinclair.
Norton.
Yeah, I got that name stuck in my head. We don't really know if he's a real person yet either.
Yeah.
Comics Misexplained said something. He said, I think Sinclair's invention.
Now, I don't remember him working on an invention, but maybe that's future. So be careful with the spoilers, people. I don't know if he was working on an invention. Was it in there?
Yep.
There was something in there, like some kind of weird.
Oh, yes. Yes, right? That's right. Yeah. Like it reminded me of what's that Christopher Nolan movie with the magicians? What's Tesla? The Prestige. Yes, that's what I was thinking of. So you were correct, Misexplained. I'm apologizing for assuming you were getting spoilery, but I really don't want this spoiled. So, something worked, something went wrong.
Yeah,
he maybe somehow created a gateway to hell in the barn. It was inside the barn, so now the barn is the part of the vessel that makes the thing go.
And this is what I love so much about this is when Father Fred and Norton are both in that barn and they're both dealing with the Laughing Man. Andrea delivers a panel like this. Just stunning in my opinion for the story. Basically, those two exist in the moment in that barn with the Laughing Man, and then all of a sudden they don't. They break apart in pieces, and they just they just like dust into the wind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool artistic choices that serve the story very well.
Absolutely nothing blank. Absolutely nothing in that.
They probably worked really hard on that page.
I think they probably did, to be honest.
That blank page.
That blank page absolutely. In my opinion, that blank page from the Jeff Lemire's point means a lot.
Yeah.
So as a reader, that really hits home for me when, oh my God, there's nothing.
And Solo Wookie, he says the art is so good from what you have shown. Dude, get on this and read it, bro. It's that good. Seriously, man. I think he mentioned earlier today that he hadn't read it yet. Man, it's if there's a book that I could recommend better more than Saga, I think it might be this. So especially if you're into this kind of thing.
Our boy here, Comics Misexplained, makes an incredible point that I didn't know. I didn't know Joker Killer Smile was done by the same team.
And it's good.
What do you mean?
It's got to be good if it's the same. There's no way they produce hot water garbage doo-doo. This team does not produce doo-doo water. So
that's another series, I assume. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that is a DC series. Well, obviously, but yeah. And then these two wake up Norton wakes up in the field with potentially his sister, the sheriff, and Father Fred wakes up in that other alternate area in the dump with Dr. Zhu.
What if Gideon Falls is just an origin story to Joker? I'm kidding.
Stop.
I'm
Stop
kidding.
it.
I'm done. I'm done.
You're gonna make my head hurt.
You're gonna kick me off.
I'm already fired anyways for picking Mac and me. So,
oh man. Anybody got anything else to say about Gideon Falls? I mean, I feel like we've covered pretty much everything on it. Volume 2.
Well, let me get through this last.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we not go through the last part of it?
Oh, we've been floating. We've been
kind of like dipping.
We've been talking about some of the greater points. I got the last issue out where that original posse that goes to hunt down Norton Sinclair kicks the door in, and this is what really throws you for a loop. When they kick that door in on that barn, that's what they see. The hell is that? And that's on the cover of the last issue. That's on the cover of 11.
See, now that to me looks like your theory of multiple different dimensions.
Yeah.
Like some sort of an interdimensional thing that's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. And then in issue 12, the last issue of volume 2, they open up with obviously a big 1886. And that's when that posse is being formed to go hunt Norton Sinclair. And the Laughing Man, we see him in the barn just eating a human being as the original priest from 1886 is in the barn and Wake comes to and like, what's going on? A dude's literally eating a dude.
Kind of making me hungry, actually. Hungrier than Mac and me did.
Yeah, my order accidentally got canceled, so I'm gonna have to figure out food.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But then you get some of the see, this is where I'm wondering, side by side, page to page, paralleling each other, but the same location.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you know which one?
It could also be a time thing though, too, because one's
Right.
in black and white like the olden days, and one's in color,
Not entirely. The downtown cityscape is in like grayscale and black and some light blues and whatnot, but the upper left-hand corner does have a lot of, it's got like a desert background. You know what I mean? Like a tan desert background and way back there. So, but then the greenscape one has this very weird futuristic looking tree back there that's hard to.
What do you think those boxes are? Those red boxes?
They seem to be the look here boxes. They seem to magnify things in the story that you're supposed to look at.
There's something different about that specific page though, or those pages. It's almost like it's almost like a grid that like almost like puzzle pieces kind of thing.
You know what he's done? You know what Jeff Lemire's done? You remember the Highlights magazine for like 3, 4, 5
Oh
years?
yeah.
This is what he's done, the adult version of that. Minus the
like
words.
Find shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that priest from 1886 wakes up in a different location in the desert, walks into a town, and somebody's come through that town and murdered a bunch of people, and now he's gonna go hunt them down. Gets a horse from the bartender, has a couple of drinks, catches up to another posse chasing somebody else, chasing that town murderer. So this is where the parallel universe thing kind of hits me again, is you've got a priest, slightly different, but slightly similar, who is now chasing down this posse that's going after a killer that killed a bunch of townspeople. Different location, very similar things. And when he gets there and he finds the posse this time around, instead of finding a barn and finding a posse obliterated or the Laughing Man, he finds that posse being crucified.
Yeah.
So, and it's 3 of them, just like in the Christianity folklore or tale or true story, however you want to look at it.
And then he finds that barn erected not too far away and the Laughing Man there. I don't know about you guys, but I get goosebumps thinking about this and flipping through. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time I've read up to issue 12, the first 2 volumes. And then here's the parallel universe thing that I'm worrying about too, is that priest in the end when he gets transported, it again starts making a map. Well, that map has Gideon 2, the Frontier, Gideon 3, Steam, Sinclair's Barn, like home. Like he starts making a map of where he's going, but nothing is time related. Nobody's asking what year it is.
It's true.
Yeah.
Dude.
How far have you read, Andy? Have you finished?
I've read all the way up until they stopped delivering comics to the local shop.
Got it. All right.
But to Jackson's point and to your point with the timelines, issue 13 cover is like the
It's
inner
a clock.
yeah. So I'm torn.
You know, what if it's both?
Ooh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts.
Just let it happen. Just let it happen. That's the thing.
Take it. Just lay back and take it.
Uh-huh.
I'm excited to keep going.
Yeah. Speaking of keeping going, where are we going next week?
Oh, where are we going? Well, I actually looked up Killer Joker Smile or Joker Killer Smile because that actually had me intrigued. But the hardcover for that on Amazon for its 3 issues doesn't come out till July 21st. So I ordered it. And that's a Joker horror story. So that really intrigues the shit out of me. Okay, so we'll wait on that one.
I do want to read that one then too.
But I'm going to go with, and I brought this up. It's not going to be volume 3 of Gideon Falls, unfortunately.
It's okay.
You can read that on your own. I brought this up when we discussed this. Spawn Origins Volume 1, the first 6 issues of Spawn.
Okay.
That's what we're going with.
Okay.
All right.
So
where have you been able to find it? Did you just
it's on Comixology. It's actually, if anybody has an unlimited subscription, it looks like it comes for free with that. Perfect. So there is that. But yes, the first 6 issues of Spawn. I haven't read these. To give you a little backstory, this is the only comic that I ever used to actually get. At my cabin, it's 2 hours north of here, there's a little mall in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. And when we would go there was a little comic shop, and I would basically have my mother buy the one with the coolest cover. So I've read quite a few Spawn issues, including, I believe, all 6 of these first 6 issues before. But yeah, Spawn next week. And there's a movie coming out starring Jamie Foxx. So, you know, what better time?
I think that's still a little contested. I don't think we've seen anything official for quite a while. But
no, we actually just covered it. We just recorded one of our newest episodes today, and it's hitting a lot of snags. So Todd McFarlane wants complete control over everything, and he's never directed anything, never written a script to a movie that's actually been made. And he went to like Blumhouse. He went to a bunch of places to try to get a green light, and nobody's giving him the green light. Nobody likes the script, and they want a more experienced director in there.
He's gonna get it. He's got Jamie Foxx and Jeremy Renner. They're gonna get it.
I mean, even with them, they're still not.
I mean, I don't blame him. I don't think he should direct it personally.
I mean, I think that he should just give everybody a copy of Mac and Me and be like, if this was made, you should make my movie. Come on.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. This only lost $7 million. How bad could my Spawn movie do? But yeah, no, I love Spawn. So and Solo Wookiee lives Spawn, apparently. That's what he's saying in the chat. So yeah.
Speaking of the chat, I have done a terrible job like normal hitting up the chat because Solo Wookiee's been hanging out this whole time. Gore Vidal popped in like he's done. We really appreciate him. Fish Tropic popped in. And Comics Business Explained, he loves Jeff Lemire. He loves Gideon Falls. Thanks for hanging out and listening to us gabber on about this and totally nerd out and geek out about this, because I cannot believe you didn't pick Volume 3, you son of a biscuit.
I mean, we gotta. You don't want to burn. Well, we don't want to burn through it all and have nothing Gideon Falls related after next. You know what I mean? So
first week of May is when it's coming back out.
The next time we do Gideon Falls, when we do number 3, I do want enough time that I can actually go on and pull actual pages and upload them to StreamYard.
Cool.
So that I mean, it kind of works and they kind of get the idea, but to be able to actually do an overlay when you want to show a picture really quick, like in and out, like high detail, it'd be nice to have some of that. And I didn't make time for it today. I got so
Well,
busy.
hey, you've got at least 2 weeks, so start now.
Because you got the next pick.
You do have the next pick too, because Michael picked.
Right.
I picked this.
Ooh.
Jackson's got Spawn, so you got the next pick.
So, one quick hit up on the chat again. Skeff's Comic Knowledge here. Awesome guy with an awesome YouTube channel that loves to do some CGC unboxings. I don't know how new he is to the community, but I've just discovered him, and I encourage other people to check out his content. Really cool to see him around. He's got a really good following on IG as well. Which leads me to, I did not remember to discuss you guys at the beginning deeply enough. Make sure everybody's going to boredanoid.com, checking out the website, checking out Jackson's IG. Jackson, you got 7,000 followers and better on IG.
I cheated. Let's acknowledge the fact that I cheated on that. Let's just say I've had my account suspended once. I cheated on that. Lots of likes. So many likes I gave out that it's unbelievable. I spent 18 hours a day just going around liking people's stuff, Andy.
That's the idea, right? If
you like it. I didn't actually do that. So you're calling me out. You're calling me out here. But yes, I have 7,000 followers on IG.
Dude, that's pretty dope, man. Let's bring him over this way.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll try. I'm starting to think that whole that IG's a bit of a scam. I feel like everyone who you follow and who follows you does not see all your shit. That's what I'm finding.
I'm starting to find out that the IG algorithm has turned into Facebook, where you don't, when people post stuff, you don't see it for half.
Right.
Unless you tag them. That's about it.
Yeah, you have to tag people. That's true.
I was really into IG last year when I gave in and started using it, and now I'm like, man, I don't even see half the stuff that I want to see because the algorithm just doesn't work. Superpower review.
You know what's kind of bugging me about YouTube? Like, I can't just click somebody and go straight to their page anymore.
They dropped that option when you click the 3 buttons next to somebody's name. You can't go to their channel anymore.
Yeah, that is extremely annoying. You got to literally like highlight them or drop their thing in the chat, but you got to highlight them and then search for them. But whatever.
Yeah, so I'll give instructions then. What you do is you go up to the search bar and you type in Bored and Annoyed on YouTube. You click enter and then you click subscribe. That's what you do. That's how you do it.
Yeah. And do the same for Downright Annoyed podcast.
That's too hard.
It is a lot of work.
No.
It is a lot of work.
Here's what you do. Just go down the details, and Andy did a great job. Everything is down below.
All of the links are in the details of the show. Everybody, the IG accounts, the YouTube pages and whatnot. But yeah, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Don't forget to kick that notification bell if you like notifications, and tickle that thumbs up, because this is that Bored and Annoyed, Downright Annoyed with Comics channel that moves from Downright Nerdy Podcast to Bored and Annoyed to over here. And this is more than a book club. We get to nerd out. And when we get to nerd out about the stuff that we really like, the people in the chat are all about it too. And I like when people in the chat are like, oh, they're talking Gideon Falls. Then you get Gideon Falls fans coming in too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And if you want to catch Spawn next week, go subscribe to Bored and Annoyed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I am utterly stunned at the content that you put out, and you only have 66 followers or subscribers on YouTube. You should be 10 times that.
I just started with YouTube when this guy actually, this guy actually got me going on YouTube. So it was about 15 before, because I was just having all the episodes uploaded automatically when they got on the podcast. So most of it's just audio content.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we'll get more.
And congratulations, Mike, for 500 plus subscribers. That was recent within the last week or two.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You put out a show every week that's top notch. That's one of the I can't put that podcast down when I'm going on drives, man.
Thanks, man.
Yours is very well produced,
Yes.
Michael. I will say.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's the best one that I listen to.
Oh wow, thank you very much. I mean, but dude, I mean, like, I grab inspiration. Like, I started listening to Bored and Annoyed. I started listening to fake nerd podcasts before I even started this. Right. The YouTube stuff. I watched a lot of like Simple Man's Comics. I watched a lot of Rod the Rican before I even got on YouTube, and I wanted to do both at the same time. So that's pretty much what I did, man. I've just been enjoying the ride. I'm kind of stunned it's gotten this far already, and it's been a fun ride. I'm looking forward to seeing to collabing more with all the people that helped inspire me and to do what I'm doing now. So it's kind of fun.
And Solo Wookie, can we get you on one of our shows?
I asked him last week, and he said he'd be down. So come on, Solo Wookie, get on this.
That's a great idea.
Get on Spawn. All right. Hey, Solo Wookie, you're not allowed on any more live streams until you read Spawn and come on the show next week with Bored and Annoyed.
You're not. We're going to block him. We can block him from our YouTube pages. Yeah. But yeah, he's coming. So, all right.
Sounds good. Yes.
Yeah. So, Andy, you're the host here. Are you going to end the show, or are you just going to lollygag around and sit here and blow us for the next 40 minutes, or what?
You guys here all locked up because I'm having a good time. Do you guys have any final thoughts on this? Any where do you want to see this go? What are you anticipating? Are you going to be able to deal and cope with a couple of weeks without reading volume 3? Because I'm not.
I'm reading it tonight. I'm sorry. I don't have a phone in my hands right now. Oh, there he left.
He's gone.
No, get back here. No, I'm anxious, but I like the breaks. I think when we read Saga, we read it like bam, 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 right? We did have those couple breaks with Superman, which actually was really nice. So
one break with Superman, I
think.
One
break, yeah, but it was good to have that break,
Well, see, that's kind of where I'm going with my decision, is because I'm really bummed that I don't have Saga to read right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think what we should do is Gideon Falls. There's one volume that's out and then 2 extra issues, correct? So why don't we do a Gideon Falls volume 3 episode and then a Gideon Falls, those last 2 books, and talk about where we think it's going to go.
Episode. What would be interesting is like, let's say you pick Spawn next week. Andy, you cannot pick Spawn 7 through 12. It has to skip.
Ooh, I like it.
Yep.
That's not a bad
idea.
Do
it that way.
Yeah.
So Solo Wookie says, I have to do this. A priest, a rabbit, and an atheist walk into a bar, and one of them says, it could be a typo.
God, sorry, you keep saying priest.
That's pretty good. Wait, that's good. It's a priest, a rabbit, and an atheist walk into a bar. And one of them says, I could be a typo. The rabbit instead of rabbi. The rabbit instead of rabbi.
That's pretty good, actually.
Oh,
Andy, do you have one? Do you have one for us tonight, Andy, yourself?
I do have a question from a viewer, and this question comes via text message here. And this viewer upstairs wants to know, what's the difference between Dubai and Abu Dhabi?
I don't know. Tell us.
People in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but people in Abu Dhabi do.
That's pretty good.
Oh.
Jesus, that's pretty good. I'm pretty excited to walk downstairs and tell that joke immediately.
Why downstairs? Wait, what?
Because that's where the wife is.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's in the other room and telling Riley right now.
Fortunately, trip yourself into your doom and then die.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for Spawn.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm excited.
Probably lost half my subscribers for that one.
Oh man.
I don't blame you, Skeff.
Oh, dude.
All right.
Cool, man.
This has been a great episode. Volume 2 was amazing. It's a page turner, like Jackson said. It is a thinker. There's a lot of deep cuts. I could be analyzing this thing for weeks. That being said, it's probably a good time to end the episode. So where can everybody find you guys?
I already gave instructions. Just
Yeah,
type bored
down.
and annoyed.
Go down.
Or go down. Yeah, scroll down. Shit. Sorry. Scroll down. Click the button. Hit the subscribe button. Join
That's
us
where
for
we're at.
Spawn next week.
Yep. boredandannoyed.com, Downright Nerdy, the YouTube channel, and you have a .com. You have your own website.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for hanging out. And I don't think I have anything in closing. Just give that little thumbs up, a tickle there. Help everybody out. And look for something next week on actually, I think you said Jackson's channel. Jackson's gonna be picking it, so it's gonna be the Bored and Annoyed channel. And look for that link in that description. And hey, everybody, thanks for hanging out. So I'm gonna go peace out. We'll go piggies out, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side.